Hey everybody, it's Libby again on the WootRecruit channel. What is WootRecruit? Well, we are the only recruiting process designed specifically for the high turnover industry, such as cleaning, lawn care, construction, or roofing. You name it. If you're in a service-based industry, we are the recruiting channel for you. I would like to introduce a very special guest, Faith. Do you want to introduce yourself and we'll get started?
Yeah, my name is Faye, and I have a residential cleaning company in Tyler, Texas. And yeah, I've been cleaning for probably almost about 18 years now, 15, 18 years now. And we've been hiring people and going through people for probably about the past 4 years. So it's been a lot of fun. You learn a lot of things.
You do. So I always start off with the same question and I ask everybody, what's the number one hiring mistake like that you recall making?
I would say having an employee that keeps you captive, because you think that they're not that they're the greatest, but they're the only ones that can do it, and keeping them way too long. I would rather turn away work than have an employee keep me hostage. Because you can get new clients if they can't wait to get their house cleaned. We understand that they need to have a solution, just like we need to have a solution. But I can't violate the trust that I have with an employee to go and do a job. It can be very you can feel like a hostage, like that's the only option, and they're the only ones that can do this job. And it doesn't have to be house cleaning; it can be any kind of home service job or any employee you have. But you don't. The minute you feel like there's a break in trust, you need to do something about it. Whether it's a hard conversation or parting ways, but you need to do something about it because this is your name, your business that they're taking into your clientele's. And that's the representation. If you have character problems, that's a representation of character that you're letting go and represent your company. So those are hard lessons that we've had to learn along the way on there, is
Yeah.
that keeping that with your employees.
Why do you think that a lot of business owners, and I've done it, um, we put up with it? Like, oh, but they're a good cleaner. Like,
Well,
why do
we
you
put
think
up
you
with
put
it
up with it? Like,
probably because we feel a hostage and we don't even realize it, because we don't want to go out and do the work. We hired somebody to go and do it, and they're doing a good job. So if I just don't have them work with, this employee, then it will work out. And then you're just setting yourself up to have a high school type of behavior going on here. So you don't want to. If you want to have a good work culture, you need to be able to trust everybody that's there. If you want to have a good team, we don't. Even when I look on the schedule, it was so stressful to look at the schedule and say, oh, I can't put this one with this one because they don't work well, and then these two argue a lot, or this one's slow, and this one. We want the whole team to be able to work together, with whatever the situation, whatever the job would call for in there. And if we feel like we have no control over that, then that means we have a culture problem, and we got to fix that, because we're the ones that hired them. We're the ones that can let them go.
so it's our fault.
Yeah,
It's always our fault.
one way or another.
So you brought up culture. How do you guys, I know that both you and Gabe do the recruiting. I know Gabe's focused on it right now since Faith just had a baby. So um, she's handed off that recruiting to Gabe, her husband. But how do you guys make sure you hire for a culture fit? Like, what are some of the things that you guys are looking for in that interview or onboarding process that helps you figure out if they are or not a culture fit?
So what we do is we have a cleaning company. We don't really ask any questions pertaining to cleaning itself or to the cleaning
Love
job.
that.
We don't really care if they have cleaning experience. Do they like cleaning? We don't even go into that. The way we look in interviews is that we're the first part of the interview. Where the first 5 minutes they're going to converse with us is probably how they're going to converse with the clients when they go into the client's home. And if they come into the interview and they're more subdued or not really looking at us and can't really make a whole lot of small talk, it is probably not going to be a good culture fit for us. It doesn't mean they'll be a bad cleaner or a bad employee, but those first few minutes, that's the engagement. That's what we're looking for. And we ask them questions about their life, what they're looking for, what are their plans, what are their dreams, what have they traveled to, just getting to know them. on a very small talk level, and just if we like them, then we interview further. Just if it's really is like almost like a likability.
Yes, I like the fact that you talked about not even talking about cleaning, like the skill.
Mhm.
So, unless it's a very specific trade, say like a welder
Right.
that they need to know just, but for the most part, a lot of jobs we can teach the skill,
Mhm.
right? But we can't teach the character.
Mhm.
And one of my mentors said, never hire anyone who didn't have a smile when they walked in the door.
Yes.
Now they could put a smile on after they walked in the door, but never
Mhm.
hire anyone who didn't have a smile on when they walked through the door. So just think about that. And
Mhm.
I think it shows a lot to really realizing that skill is probably the easiest thing to train and to teach
Mhm.
versus character. So, what are some things that you guys have done in your recruiting process that's um, really helped grow that hiring side of your business?
Saying no. It's as silly as it sounds, it's just not saying yes to everything. Um, since we use WootRecruit, we have um, specific times of the day that we interview, specific days of the week that we interview, and those are our windows that we do hiring. Because we've had WootRecruit now for about almost 3 years, and
Nice.
it's we were way back in the early days when we started using WootRecruit. And before WootRecruit, we were running our own Indeed ads and on different, other hiring platforms in there. And I spent all this money, and we just would call the people. I didn't even know. I don't even know if you can schedule. I don't know how Indeed works right now. I don't know if you can schedule an interview on Indeed, but
No, you can't.
yeah, so we were calling everyone and emailing them, and planning times and places to meet and no shows, and we had 5 people, and we had different. Someone would never show up, and it was an absolute mess. I think we were like 8 o'clock at a coffee shop after waiting 2 hours. I mean, it was just we didn't know anything of how to manage our time, and it was stressful and tiring, and we were done. So when we started with WootRecruit, we realized, oh my gosh, we can actually pre-plan when they're going to show up. Oh my gosh, this is a
Yes.
game changer for us. So ever since then, these are our days and times that work for our life that we interview. Because we don't always interview at the most convenient times for people to work after work, because right now we're prioritizing our family for the evening. So we're not interviewing in the evenings. Um, but we also know that we can just having that boundary in there of when we're doing the interviews. Somebody emails said, "Hey, I can't make it that day. Can we do a Thursday?" And we'll say, "No, we only interviewed this day and this day." If they really, really, really want the job, they'll make it happen. If they can't make it, they can't
Uh,
make it.
I love that insight. Very few people have realized that ability to say no. These are my set days. Like, oh, no problem. We interview every day at 10 or every day at noon.
Mhm.
Feel free to come another
Mhm.
day, or just
Yeah.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. Um, because before I was doing the same thing when I was pregnant with Yaya, it'd be like I had 8 interviews scheduled 30 minutes apart. And I just wasted 6 hours of my life for nobody to show
Mhm.
up and trying to convenience their schedules, and it
Yeah.
inconvenienced my schedule. Um, so I love that, and sticking to it and sticking to a process um, has been great. So as far as hiring and culture, what are some of the things that you do in your business now to really improve culture with your current technicians?
I would say ask them what their goals are, what their dreams are, what do they want to do. One of our employees, she's been with us 2 years. This week, I think it's tomorrow. It's her 2-year anniversary, and she just put in her request to go take another week-long vacation to Hawaii. Last week, she was able to take a trip to Hawaii to go visit her daughter for a week, and we offer paid
I want to go to
vacation, so we were
Hawaii.
able. Yeah, she was able to go last year, and she just asked, "Hey, I'm going this summer again to go visit my daughter in Hawaii," and we're like, "Yes, absolutely, go." Uh, we don't, we're not a revolving door for our employees. We always tell them we have an open door policy. If you have something you need to talk about, we're here. We've had them come in and they're upset about something and they just sit down and vent. And then we say, okay, now that you're done, let's work this out. Let's see what we can do to fix this. And that changes a lot on their perspective because they're expecting to come out and cuss out their boss and then they're going to get fired and that's how it's done. But that's not how we operate because I came from a work environment before when I couldn't really verbalize what I wanted. Gabe came from an environment he couldn't verbalize. So we changed that in our company that come in here, say what you want, what do you want to happen, and let's talk about it and see if we can make it happen. And it can be as small as wanting different cleaning towels or as big as, hey, do you have health benefits? I mean, I need to go for 3 weeks. One of our technicians, her mom has, not now, but she was going through cancer. And we told her, we said, at any time, and her mom lives in another state. And we told her, said, at any time you feel you need to go and be with your mom, we will make the schedule work. Don't feel like you're going to lose your job because you have to go see your mom on there. And that gave her a lot of peace of mind on there. And just her verbalizing what she needed, and we verbalized what we needed from her also. It's just, give me that heads up that morning. Just please don't no show. Just let me know. Say, hey, I have to go see my mom. I have to leave early on Friday. She's going through things. And I said, yes, as long as you communicate, we have a good relationship as long as you're communicating with your employees and that they feel they can come to you with anything on there, whether it's a higher paycheck or they just need more trash bags for their cleaning caddies. It could be as simple as anything. There's nothing too big or too small for your employees to have to talk to you about something.
I love that. And I think sometimes as business owners, we're kind of scared of that feedback because we all think that they want the same thing that we want. But in reality, it's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different. We're so funny at Organize It. We had a cleaner. She loved working for Organize It. And she was pregnant. She worked until 2 days before she had that baby. And then 3 weeks later, she's like, I'm ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, why don't you take another week? She's like, no, I want to come back. I miss my job. And when you hear people out and you talk to people and you have an open door and there's no criticism,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the hardest things for me to learn how to do as a business owner was take the criticism with grace. Sit there and listen without talking, without saying but, and without being defensive. Just listen to what they say because these businesses are our babies and we protect them and we can get a little
defensive.
I don't know.
On everything.
Defensive.
Yeah.
But just taking it and listening can be one of the most powerful things. And then also taking what they say and taking action on it. If you make a change, I'll give you an example. We just changed our payroll at WootRecruit. We were paying weekly, and some of the employees asked to be paid biweekly because of certain fees from banks, and it was costing them a little bit of money. So we listened and we incorporated that. We just changed it this last week to biweekly pay because they asked for it. But when you make that change, announce it, say, because you guys wanted, because we listened, because we heard you, not because we listened, because we heard what you were asking for, we're now going to biweekly pay. And make sure when you roll those changes out, you're not saying names specifically, but they were heard. And this is why we're making these changes. It will just make your company better and stronger.
Yeah, that's when you say talking about naming names, that's one thing we really push in our company is we don't say, well, he said, she said, well, this person said this. And we're very much, if you have a problem, you need to come and talk to Gabe or me about it. You don't need, when talking with other people doesn't help. That if you need more hours in your schedule, you need to come and communicate that with the person who's working the schedule on there. If you have a problem with your pay, or if you have a problem that, we didn't approve your time off request for something, it's like, well, maybe we didn't get it. Maybe the email didn't go through. I don't know. Come and ask me about it rather than talking about it with everybody else on there too. It's just bringing that, and our employees know that. And your A players, you know, we classify our A players and B players and things like that. So our A players help our B and C players to become A players, because they're telling, hey, talking to me about this is not going to help. You need to just go talk to Gabe about it. And that C player will come in the office and say, well, she told me to talk to you. I'm like, yeah, let's fix it.
Great. You're in the right place.
Right.
So let's go ahead and wrap up. We've been on for a good 15 minutes. We got to let Faith go. She's got to go back to work or to her beautiful little baby. So that's a wrap, guys. And on today's episode of recruiting, it was my pleasure to guide you along with Faith on some ins and outs of effective recruiting and culture building. Remember, transforming your hiring isn't a myth. It can be a reality. It is within reach. For more insights and strategies, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, keep recruiting and make recruiting the superpower for your business.